goodness, sorry about that. Had some issues getting connected to Rumble today. Weird. Hold on, let me make sure we're good. I wasn't even showing up as live streaming. There I am, finally. Wow, that was crazy. Um, happy Friday. Welcome. I hate having technical issues right at the front of the show because a lot of times you've got new people watching and then you look like you're incompetent. But I swear I'm not. It's just technical stuff. No, I'm not drinking a glass of urine. It is ginger ale. One of those things, diet ginger ale, one of those things that is high in citrate. If you're fighting kidney stones, good to know. I don't know how to get that comment off. There we go. Wait, can I get that one off? There we go. Ay vey, what a news week, you guys. Has it been crazy or what? Um, I didn't even know where to start, and I had to really work to kind of trim things down. I wanted to start with Kate Middleton, and I've not said much about Kate Middleton because I'm a nurse and I just have a um, just such a respect for people's medical privacy. And I think if people don't want to come out and say what's going on with them, it's none of our dang business and people should just leave her alone. I'm not a big Royals watcher or fan or anything like that, but I just think it's interesting that we've come to this point in society where people will harass and bully and stalk um, to get information that you're not entitled to. It's none of your business. Unless she comes out and says something about it, it's none of your business. I don't think we should be engaged in all of this speculation. Shame on you, Megyn Kelly. I love Megyn Kelly, love her show, but that was a misstep. I just think you add to it. It puts all this pressure on Kate and her family. And my other issue with it is they have children that are old enough to understand what's going on. And they're trying to best figure out. I mean, just imagine you get a cancer diagnosis, which is apparently what's going on. You get a cancer diagnosis, and everyone gets on Twitter. Everyone in your town starts talking about, um, what's going on with you and whispering and putting rumors out there. And your kids are hearing this. I mean, this is on the news. They go to school. They're hearing it at school. Um, it's just horrible. I think the reason it hits so home with me is when my ex-husband was cheating on me, we lived in a really small town and every single person knew and no one told me. And it so hurt me. And I understand now people were like, "Oh, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to I don't want to be the cause of fallout in her family." Oh, my nose is itchy like crazy. Um that kind of stuff. But I mean, friends didn't tell me, and I just think that's terrible. And it wasn't so much that they didn't tell me, but it was that they didn't tell me and they were all talking about it, you know, because they lack anything interesting going on in their own lives. And so I've just felt really bad for Kate. Um, because it's like I said, none of our damn business what's going on in her life. And, if something crazy's happened to her, then something crazy's happened to her. We'll find out eventually or we won't. But her medical stuff is none of our business. That said, today she did come out because basically she was forced to because of all of the rumors and everything. And she did talk about what's going on with her. And so I'm going to share that with you guys uh, if I can. But I just feel bad that she's been forced out on this, and I think if she had wanted to keep the whole thing secret and stay out of the limelight for a year because, something was going on with her, then why is that anybody's business but her own? I realize she's a public person, but you being a public person doesn't mean that your medical information is everyone else's business. Where is this? Hold on. It is which one? It's this one. Not Charlie Kirk. Why is it not showing up in my list? There it is. All right, let me see if you guys can see this. Yeah, here we go. Ah, now I got to find it again. Oh, for the love of. There it is. Okay. Kate Middleton reveals cancer diagnosis in emotional video. This is a quote from Kate. It's been an incredibly tough couple of months. Wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I have been recovering from surgery. It's been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family, but I've had a fantastic medical team who have taken great care of me, for which I am so grateful. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non cancerous. The surgery was successful, however, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I am now in the early stages of that treatment. This of course came as a huge shock, and William and I have been doing everything we can to process and to manage this privately for the sake of our young family. As you can imagine, this has taken time. It has taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment. But most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte, and Louis in a way, or is it Lewis, in a way that is appropriate for them and to reassure them that I am going to be okay. As I have said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal in my mind, body, and spirits. Having William by my side is a great source of comfort and reassurance, too, as is the love, support, and kindness that has been shown by so many of you. It means so much to us both. We hope that you will understand that as a family, we now need some time, space, and privacy, which she will not get. Um, while I complete my treatment. My work has always brought me a deep sense of joy, and I look forward to being back when I'm able. But for now, I must focus on making a full recovery. At this time, I'm also thinking of those whose lives have been affected by cancer. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone. Shame on every single person that that followed this as titillating gossip. It's just horrible, and I feel terrible for her and her family. We all need to do better. That's just awful. Um, I just feel terrible for her. Hello, hello, everyone. I don't mean to scold you guys. Um, but I mean, it's been one rumor after another, and and it's bad when you don't come out because you're ready to come out and talk about it. You come out because you're forced to because people are speculating that you're dead. I mean, it had to have gotten to be such chaos. People following them around, stalking them. They're trying to live their life with their kids. Let's have a little humanity. It went all over me. Um, sorry. It just did. We're better than that. And like I said, even if it wasn't cancer, if it was just a big abdominal surgery that takes time. I mean, I've had surgeries that have taken me months to recover from. I've taken months off of my show to recover, and nobody hassled me. I realize I don't have the notoriety that she does, but she's still a person just like me, and she wants her medical privacy, and I think every person ought to be entitled to that. And so, hopefully, um, the gossip mongers will give her some space now and just let her go through this and all the things you go through with chemo. I mean, I used to work on an oncology floor and it's hard and you feel terrible and it's bad enough you're going through it, but to have to go through it publicly and have people tell lies about you, I think is just terrible. That said, I want to share this story with you of somebody who does not have cancer. And let me make sure you guys can see this thing. We're gonna have to come well, just it's gonna mess up on everyone. It does this sometimes. I don't know why. I know I've told you I don't know why. I'm sure it has something to do with me. Okay, that is which one? This one. Oh, it's weird. It's changing. Okay, now I see how it's indicating the screen that I'm on. 90-Day Fiancé's Mary clarifies colon cancer claim. I made a mistake, and I'm going to tell you why she didn't make a mistake. She outright lied. The statement comes after her husband, Brandon, shared a fundraising page over the weekend to help raise money to support a cancer removing surgery for Mary. Days after issuing a plea to her followers for financial support for medical treatments, 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Ways Mary DiNuccio, revealed she does not, in fact, have cancer. Over the weekend, her husband Brandon shared a link to a fundraising page on his Instagram story as he asked his followers to help pay for surgery to remove Mary's colon cancer. On the fundraising page, which has since been deleted, Mary wrote that she had been diagnosed with colon cancer on Friday after experiencing symptoms on and off since high school, which she thought were normal. I don't know how. I'm assuming she's in her 20s. So, so she's looking back and she's like, "Oh, all that time it was cancer." No. Mary rolled back her diagnosis with a statement on her Instagram story Tuesday as she apologized for the post, writing, "I made a mistake." This is how I know she lied. "I just want to say sorry for everyone. I posted I posted saying I have colon cancer. I made a mistake and I'm just a human. I'm very sorry, everyone. Because when the doctor told me I have a colon issue, I thought that meant I have colon cancer." Really? "I got anxiety attack and I thought I have colon cancer and posted it without thinking. It's my fault and I'm very sorry about it. But please stop harassing me and wishing me to die." Definitely stop doing that. "I'm just a human. I'm in pain right now, and the pain won't go away. I kept throwing up, and I feel so weak. The doctor says my liver is inflamed." Okay, so this is what the doctor told her. The doctor said her liver is inflamed. She has a blood infection, which I don't believe, because if she had a blood infection, that would mean she has sepsis. She would be in the hospital. UTI, urinary tract infection, and hemorrhoids. How did she take that to mean she has colon cancer? It sounds like he was very specific about what she had. Her liver's inflamed. She has a blood infection. I don't know how she, perhaps, it sounds like her English is not good. Maybe she misunderstood that part. UTI, urinary tract infection, and hemorrhoids. And she's at home, as far as I know. "We are still waiting for another laboratory test for my colon. Again, I'm very sorry I made a mistake announcing I have colon cancer. I just thought I have colon cancer because doctor said I have issue with my colon and they need to check it." I don't know why anybody would think the doctor says there's an issue with your colon. We need to do some check tests and check that. She's like, "Yeah, I've had problems since my teen years." I don't know how that somehow translates to cancer. The 23-year-old wrote that she was told by a doctor that she has a colon issue, so she thought that meant cancer. Um, Fans were quick to cast doubt on her alleged colon cancer diagnosis after the fundraising page Mary started. So she started the fundraising page, and Brandon shared on his Instagram. That was halted on Monday with the reason listed as "go get funding has been requested or required to stop this campaign." In the description of the fundraising page, Mary wrote that she was scared of the surgery. Nobody, nowhere does she say a doctor told her she was going to have surgery. She believed she was to have surgery. She was believed. Good night. In the description of the fundraising page, Mary wrote that she was scared of the surgery she believed she had to have due to her symptoms because of her C section over the summer to give birth to her and Brandon's daughter, Midnight. I, who writes this stuff? I mean, this is People Magazine writing this. That's just a terrible sentence. Um, she claimed her doctor told her the cancer needs to be removed before it's too late. This is how we know it's a lie. So she claims the doctor tells her the cancer needs to be removed before it's too late. But up here, what she tells us is the doctor says my liver is inflamed. I have a blood infection, UTI, and hemorrhoids. Do you see anywhere in there where the doctor said you need to have this cancer removed before it's too late? This is a try at a money grab. When people started questioning it, she took it down. I'm telling you. Um, Mary also wrote that she doesn't have financial support to fund the procedure as she's the only one working in the family. Okay, Brandon, get a damn job. She's sick. I don't know what all's going on with her. It's definitely not cancer. These people are insane. I'm sorry. That is not something you make up a story about. This stupid thing. I can't see any of the comments. Hang on. There we go. Okay, let me see what we got here. Hi, Tiffany Bailey. Hi, Patty. Hi, Summer. How about the show on Mondays too? This way we would have you Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I will think about that. The thing is, if you do a show on Monday that's news, there's generally not much that happens over the weekend. And so you don't really have much to talk about on Mondays. That may soon change, though. Tiffany says, yeah, TikTok. We have some people on there. Yeah, I don't do social media with scamming people out of a lot of money, saying he had cancer and he had cancer in his heart and he would die by the next day. We got all the same, but none of those people on TikTok is going to get the money back. So ridiculous. And this lady on here comes on, so she's got colon cancer. Why do people scamming like that? That's so wrong. I agree. It is wrong. I mean, that's just terrible. This is a grift. Exactly. This is a grift. She probably has one of the above. They start trying to do stuff to get easy money. I've seen it. Yeah, I have seen it a lot too. And that's why I stay out of the fray on stuff like that. But that's just beyond the pale fake a cancer diag. I know somebody personally in my life who did something like this, who faked, I don't want to give out too much, who faked that one of their family members was very ill and started a GoFundMe. And the family and I figured out that it was all BS. And the person was confronted and took it down. And can you go on TikTok? Those people on those scamming people. For I would love for you to do that story next time. Yeah, no, I don't do social media. I have a Witthealth coach Twitter account, and I basically, if I see something interesting, I might make a comment on it, but I don't really put much out. I feel like social media for me is just a time sucker. And I have so much news I have to watch, stories I have to read and get through. And then I do a lot of research on health stuff, things like that. Um, so it's just not a good way to spend my time because I'll get sucked in and half the day will be gone. Also, you guys, we're going to do prayer requests at the end. I made up some slides for that, but I wanted to ask you specifically, even while we're doing the show, if you'll say a prayer. We've got this little gray kitty outside, and he's not our cat. Um, yeah, maybe something else, not news. I will think about that. Yeah, maybe like a subscriber only thing or something. I'll think about that. Um, anyway, he comes around. He's not our cat. I don't know whose cat he is, but Don feeds him, and he's kind of claimed us, right? So I hadn't seen him for a couple of days, which isn't all that unusual. But I noticed his food wasn't getting eaten, and that is unusual. And so yesterday, Don says to me, "Mr. Gray's in the chair, and he's got like a leaf or something stuck to him." And so he goes out to check on him, and he's like, "You need to come out here." And so I put gloves on and I go out there, and I don't know if he's been shot with a BB gun multiple times or if a dog got hold of him and the big holes are the canine teeth of the dog. But he has got 7 deep puncture wounds that are all abscessed. Um, we discussed taking him and just having him euthanized. It's bad. And, we can't afford thousands of dollars in surgery for a stray cat. And so, Don's like, "Can you do something?" And I love that man, and I love the cat. He's a sweet cat. And so we brought him in last night. I got the hair all cut down and shaved back as far as I could so I could look at these wounds. And you guys, I was going to take pictures, but it's so gruesome. Um, and it's probably your dinner time, so I won't go into a lot of detail. But if you've got a cat that happens to, it's definitely not an attack from another cat because the holes are big. They're like my end of my middle finger big and deep. Like one of them is tunneling. Um, there's a place by his ear where the skin's been completely torn back and the skin is gone, so I can't even suture it. Um, but what I did was I've got these big 30 ml syringes. I got saline, put povidone iodine in there till it was about tea colored, and put it into the wounds and irrigated the wounds out to get all the exudate, the drainage and stuff out of there. Got him washed up, got all the matted fur off because that'll cause skin infections. Irrigated all those wounds. I gave him 30 milliliters of subcutaneous normal saline because he was so dry, dehydrated. He's running fever, so that's, burning through the fluids. He's not eating really. He ate a little bit last night, but not much today, just kind of licking at the wet food. He did drink water yesterday, but he's not drinking today, so I'll probably give him another subcutaneous injection of normal saline just to keep his, because he'll soak that up, um, over hours, over a day or so. And so I'm just trying to keep his fluid up. Today I got more aggressive and I took methylene blue, which is antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral, and diluted it down a little bit and irrigated the wounds out with it, and then coated the wounds are stained. So I painted the stained with methylene blue. I painted the wounds with methylene blue. I ordered, you used to be able to go buy penicillin G for livestock at the farm store, but they don't sell it anymore, which is crazy. I mean, that's, you've been able to get that for decades. And so I got online and found a place where I could order it, but it won't be here till Tuesday. And he needs an injection 4 times a day of that, to help kick this infection. So we're just doing the best we can, keeping him warm, loving on him, praying over him. And, so just pray. I was really surprised when I found him alive this morning, on the little towel that we laid out for him. I'm also doing red light therapy with the methylene blue because it's really good for wound healing. The methylene blue kind of charges the mitochondria of the cell and helps it heal, on top of being antibacterial and everything. So I've got, an LED red light on him. Well, see, I was going to take him to a rescue, but I think the stress would probably kill him at this point. He's just, I mean, he's on death's door. I really think if I took him in there and he had to listen and be around all the other animals and stuff, because I considered that. I'm like, I could take him to a rescue. I just don't think he'd survive it. And if he's going to pass, we'd like to be here with him when he does. And the thing is, if you give him to a rescue, you have to completely give him up, and you can't get him back. It does sure sound like our cat, doesn't it? This is every injured animal. I have raised robins and starlings and kittens and dogs. I've doctored, I mean, you name it. If it's sick, it's going to find me and I'm going to doctor it. This is the same cat that got in a fight with another cat and had the big abscess on his head that burst, that I had to irrigate, do all this same stuff with, and but it was just I had to cut a little incision to. I'm getting to be a good vet. That's all I have to say. But every time I go in there, I've been checking on him hourly. I would say his condition is, critical at this point. So we'll keep an eye on him. We'll keep praying over him. But you guys pray over him too. His name's Mr. Gray. And I love you guys for doing that. But yeah, it does sure sound like our cat, doesn't it? I just can't stand to see anything suffer. It's like when COVID was going on, this lady called me and, do I have children's Pedialyte? Well, I'm giving him the normal saline under his skin, so he's getting plenty of fluids. I don't know how I would even get him to drink that, but I'll try it. I could probably just make some myself. It's just sodium water with glucose in it. Um, but yeah, I might try that if he'll drink. I'm having a hard time getting him to even drink water. He is your cat. He is our cat. Him and Bonnie Gooch. Bonnie Gooch is named after a lady that, like a 70-year-old lady that keeps robbing banks and getting caught. And Bonnie Gooch is a food thief. So thank you, Enlighten. Um, so anyway, I just wanted to throw that in because he's on my mind. And if Don were to come in and call me, I would need to go check on him. Thank you, Patty. Okay, so next story. Now that we're done with the fake cancer, give me some money. Oh, that just makes me so mad. Because there's real suffering in the world, and you don't need to make up stuff to get attention and money. That's just, work. How about that work? Um, if they're having financial troubles, then Brandon needs to work. The boyfriend or husband, or I don't know, whatever's going on with those people, but that's just terrible. That is a terrible thing to do. All right, next story is, yeah, let's do this one. Let's do this one, the Charlie Kirk story. Okay, make sure you guys can see. You can. All right. So Representative Mike Gallagher announced he is resigning his congressional seat effective April 19th. So who was it that just, was it iPatch that said he was leaving? And he said that three more would be leaving. And then somebody the other day, was it Buck? Buck said he's leaving. And now, and he said, I think it was iPatch that said when he was leaving that there would be two or three more. Well, then we had, I think it was Buck. or maybe Buck's a Democrat. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. You guys tell me in the chat if I am. But now Gallagher's going to leave. Um, that you're a traitor at this point if you do that, because of this next story. And I think this is what they're setting up. So I just wanted to tell you that if you guys are in Mike Gallagher's district, you need to ring his his phone off the hook at his congressional office and demand that he finish out his term, because I'm guessing whoever is in that state can assign whoever they want to that seat. And I don't, where is Mike from? Does he say? He doesn't. I don't know where Mike Gallagher's from. But this is the next story is going to explain to you why this is such a problem. And it's not just, oh, we need votes to get legislation passed. That's not it at all. It is this, which is scary. I think you guys can see that well enough. Okay, what happens if no candidate wins 270 electoral votes? And this is a concern because we've got Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and RFK Jr. running. And so that could make it, if RFK Jr. pulls enough electoral votes where nobody gets to 270. If you don't believe the 2024 presidential campaign can get any more bizarre or anxiety inducing, just wait. 70% of Americans have indicated that they don't want the major presidential candidates they now appear stuck with. This is from the Hill, so, ignore the bias. A substantial percent of Democratic voters and a majority of Republican voters don't want Biden to run because of his age and perceived cognitive issues. A substantial number of Republicans and a majority of Democrats don't want Trump to run. I don't believe a substantial number of Republicans, based on polling, don't want Trump to run. Next, still in media enforced stealth mode, but coming up fast in the outside lane is RFK Jr. running as an independent. Beyond Kennedy, off in the distance, is the specter of the no labels candidate finally materializing. As one steps back to study that framework, a natural question starts to come into focus, one that's been asked of me by several major players from both parties over the last few weeks. What if no presidential candidate wins the required 270 electoral college votes? If you don't think it can happen, you haven't been paying close attention to this eccentric campaign season. Such a nightmare scenario seems almost preordained at this point, and I agree. In preparation of that looming possibility, here's the answer. If no candidate receives a majority of electoral votes, the presidential election leaves the electoral college process and moves to Congress. Now, I think if we have one more Republican leave, we no longer have a majority. If Democrats go into those seats, they will have the majority. Okay. Presidential candidates who receive the three that receive the most votes. Each state delegation has one vote, and it is up to the individual states to determine how to vote. Since the District of Columbia is not a state, it has no state delegation in the House and cannot vote. A candidate must receive at least 26 votes, a majority of states, to be elected. The Senate elects the vice president from the two vice presidential candidates with the most electoral votes. Each senator casts one vote for vice president, since the District of Columbia can't vote. A candidate must receive at least 51 votes, a majority, to be elected. If the House of Representatives fails to elect a president by inauguration date, the vice president elect serves as acting president until the deadlock is resolved in the House. So, for the moment, let's assume Biden, Trump, and Kennedy are the three presidential candidates who received the most electoral votes. Suddenly, the magic number is reduced from 270 electoral votes down to 26 state votes. More than that, a state is no longer duty bound to vote for the candidate who won that state in the general election. This would be a total shit show. I mean, mark my words, because you will have states that won't care how everybody voted and they'll vote however they're influenced to vote, that this one vote that they get. For the sake of argument, let's say that in the final stretch of the campaign, RFK Jr. starts gaining in popularity with more independents, minority voters, and Republicans and Democrats dissatisfied with or disgusted by Biden and Trump. Because of that, let's further assume that he wins a respectable number of electoral college votes. Impossible, you say? Because independent candidates generally tend to flame out toward the end of a campaign as voters flock back to their traditional party on election day? True, but there are noteworthy exceptions. Back in 1992, I remember this, independent candidate Ross Perot got almost 20% of the vote. While he won no electoral votes, his impressive showing knocked Bill Clinton's popular vote total down to just 43%. As for the last third party candidate to actually win an electoral college vote, it was George Wallace in 1968. I don't remember that, who won 5 southern states and 46 electoral votes at the as the standard bearer for the American Independent Party against Republican Richard Nixon and Democrat Hubert Humphrey. Many believe that Wallace took more votes from Nixon than Humphrey, so much so that while Nixon easily bested Humphrey in the Electoral College, 301 to 191, he won the popular vote by less than 1%. All that to say that a strong third party candidate can easily upend conventional wisdom while creating political intrigue. Could Robert F. Kennedy Jr. match or exceed Wallace's electoral vote total? And if he managed to pull off such a feat, what would that do for the final electoral vote count? After the 2020 election, Biden was declared the winner of the Electoral College with 306 votes to Trump's 232. Many expect the contest between Biden and Trump to be even closer in 2024. Let's hope not. If it is, and Kennedy can manage to win a solid number of electoral votes, then what? No one gets to 270, and the House of Representatives, voting on behalf of the 50 states, is entrusted to pick the next president. What could possibly go wrong with the constitutionally mandated solution? Buckle up. Isn't that scary? I hate to scare you on a Friday, but good Lord. All right, let me check your comments here. Um, he is from Brown County, Wisconsin. Call him up. Tell him not to. I mean, he can't make it. He can't not retire until after the election. How many? What is this? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. He can't make 8 more months. It wouldn't even be that because he's saying he's going to leave in April. So 7 more months from then. Jerk. These people are just, I mean, it is a swamp. There's no other way to say it. So the senators will have more power than we will. Yeah, even if we vote that's very scary and they get paid a lot of money. Why can't we control how they get paid? Yeah, I agree. He has Instagram. Go after him. Tiffany's our local Instagram specialist here. So if you've got an Instagram or no, you'd like TikTok too. So we'll say social media outside of Facebook. Insert Kamala cackle. Yeah, maniacal laugh, maniacal laugh. What the I mean, could it get I just I need things to just be not insane. They don't have to be normal. They don't have to be like they were. I just need them to not be a clown show. And that's what this is. I cannot believe these Republicans are quitting. And now they're talking about getting rid of the speaker. Marjorie Taylor Greene brought that today, wanting to get rid of him because of this $1 trillion spending package. She's right, but this isn't the time. You can't do this. You can't piss off any more Republicans and have them retire. This is not the time. And yes, they should hang that man out to dry for this. I agree. But we've got bigger fish to fry right now. We have an election to win. And that is absolutely insane. And it makes the Republicans look so inept because we got rid of McCarthy, who I didn't like. Um, we got rid of and then we've got Mike Johnson, right? Well, if you go through this whole thing again, it's going to be the same thing. You're not going to be able to get the votes, and it just turns into comedy. I mean, the Democrats are praying that we get rid of Mike Johnson. I'm telling you, yes, he deserves it. Yes, he should be out on his ass. Pardon my language tonight. Um, but this is not the time. This is not the time. You can't do that. There is so much up in the air right now that you've got to keep. I mean, even though they're horrible, you've got to kind of keep that status quo. They shouldn't have gotten rid of Santos. That was stupid. The Democrats haven't got rid of Mendez. Why would you get rid of Santos? You lose a vote when you do that. And they've just it's like I don't know if they're stupid or if it's intentional. I mean, I have to think it's intentional because they understand the game that goes on. So why would you intentionally, Mike Johnson, get rid of Santos? That makes no sense. No sense. You could have pulled him off any committees he was on. There were any number of things that you could have done. But you should not have given up that vote, you booger eating moron. I just these people are insane. They're absolutely insane. And they're going to be the downfall of us. And what do we do? You know, we're in such a predicament right now. Trump's in such bad shape. And here's the thing, whether you like Trump or not, I don't know where anybody, or whether you like Biden or not, I don't know where anybody got this idea that you need to like the person you're voting for. He's not moving in next door to you. You're not going to marry him. He's not going to marry your daughter. He can be a total horse's ass. It doesn't matter. As long as he can get policy through, as long as he does what will bring the country back economically, bring us back to a moral center somewhat, it doesn't matter if you like him or not. You don't have to like this person. It is not a popularity contest. It is what is best for this country. Can we do 4 more years of Biden? I don't think we can. I don't think we can. I think poverty is going to go through the roof. I think our what's happening at the southern border. I mean, they just stormed the National Guard. They ripped down the barbed wire. Um, and they stormed the National Guard. I mean, if that were Russia and Ukraine, there would have been shooting over that. And I'm not saying we should shoot people, but what do you do when you're being overwhelmed like that and you're being invaded? And if this isn't an invasion, and I'm not trying to be, racist or anything. I mean, I don't care if you're white coming across that border. You should not be allowed to do that. That's absolute insanity. Patty says, I learned that years ago when I mass hired. Sometimes the best workers you would not hang out with. Right. Right. Like, I don't need you to be my friend as a nurse. I do need you to be a good nurse. I do need that because that's our goal. Our goal is to provide excellence in nursing care. And so you can be a total ass to me. I don't care. As long as you're good to those patients, I can put up with that. But I feel like this is where we've gotten, that you think you have to like everybody or agree with everybody. I mean, if the president was um, doing puppy play, was like every bad thing you could imagine, was a Satanist, God forbid, um, but he was doing a good job for the country. Kids were able to get out of college, find jobs, get houses. I would be willing to vote for that. Not the Satan thing. I would have to not vote for the Satan thing, but you know what I mean. If he were deplorable in every sense of the word, um, but our country was chugging along. Our infrastructure was good. You know, panels weren't falling off of planes out of the sky. We weren't slitting our own throats with the Green New Deal. If Joe Biden was doing all of the right things, I would vote for Joe Biden. I absolutely would. I'm not a dyed in the wool conservative. I am conservative. Um, but I'm also able to put that aside and say, what is best for, it's not all about me. What is best for our country? Did you see the video of the hold on. I was trying to read that. I'm sorry. Did you see the video of the Venezuelan that said they can invade homes? Yes. And the government will not do anything, encouraging and talking bad about the government. Yeah, they're like, just come on over. You can squat in these homes and there's really nothing they can do about it. Just like the Venezuelan that came on and said, if you're pregnant, get here, have your baby here. Our baby is paying all of our bills. And if you have more babies, you'll get more money. I, we've got people living on the streets that are American. We've got veterans living on the streets. We've got drug addicts who can't get into care um, because all of that money that was supposed to come from legalizing marijuana, and that money was supposed to go into treatment programs for people who were addicted to drugs. That was just a big grift. I don't know what they do with this money, but it doesn't go toward what they say it will go toward. Meanwhile, our own people suffer. It's terrible. We definitely need to get the president Biden out of there. Get the president biting out of there every time he speaks. I think he's got dementia. Oh, yeah, definitely. You can tell by the way he talks and everything. I don't know why they can't make him go to the doctor. He went to the doctor. The doctor said he was fine. Um, the thing is, you know, he doesn't I don't know what the doctor is required to reveal to us or what the I don't even think I don't know if the doctor reveals it, the doctor who takes care of the president. I don't know if it's him or if somebody else reveals it and they can choose what is revealed. I mean, he's got his special shoes on now so that he doesn't fall. And I want him to wear his special shoes. I don't want him to fall. I don't want ill to come to any person. Um, but I mean, if you can't walk, um, and the rest of the world sees that, and it's funny because I have friends um, that live in Europe, and they're like, "This guy's a joke." We can see he's got dementia. They keep saying that we're so much better off, that we're well perceived, that Biden has really, bolstered our image in front of the world. That's absolute BS. We have cannibals, right? But they sell it. But now, yeah, when we live, we have cannabis. Oh, cannabis. Where you live, you have cannabis, but they sell it. But now, ever since they had noticed that a lot of people are addicted to it, right? Not right. And now they have to slow down how much you get. Could have told you that. This isn't the weed that was around in the 70s when I was a kid. This is this is super super strong stuff, and we've got it's causing psychosis in children, teenagers, all kinds of stuff. He went to the doctor that said he is fine. Doctor equals Joe Biden. Maybe she could come over and help with Mr. Gray. Okay, so next story. Let me get a setup here. Make sure you guys can see. You mostly can. I'm going to read to you anyway. You guys aren't reading along, are you? You're just listening to me read it. I know it. The funny thing is that migrants that came to America are communists, yes. The ones that are still in the nation are protesting. In Cuba, the people had a nationwide protest. 2 Christians got arrested. Yeah, yeah. It's a shit show, I'm telling you. I don't know how else to put it. Undocumented immigrants now have the right to own guns, a judge rules. A judge this month dropped gun charges against an illegal migrant in Illinois, sparking further debate about the rights associated with the Second Amendment. You tell me this. In order to buy a gun, you have to be a citizen. You have to fill out a background check. You can't I understand that this person has not been charged with anything coming into the country illegally, but to fill out that background check, you have to have proper identification and you have to be a citizen. So this person is not just illegally carrying around a gun, they illegally acquired a gun. And that is against the law. So how this judge can say that illegal immigrants can carry guns. So the U.S. District Court Judge Sharon Coleman, and this is a Soros judge, I'm sure, of the Northern District of Illinois, referenced Illinois is the one that's wanting gun confiscation. Referenced a lower court rulings in dismissing firearm possession charges against Heriberto Carbajal Flores, who was illegally or unlawfully in the United States when he possessed a handgun in the Little Village neighborhood of Chicago in June of 2020. The court finds that Carbajal Flores' criminal record containing no improper use of a weapon, he can't even have the weapon. He illegally acquired a firearm. That is against the law. If I did that, I would be in trouble. As well as the nonviolent circumstances of it wasn't being violent. He just happened to have a gun on him that he got illegally. I'm sure he wasn't going to do anything wrong with that. Um, do not support a finding that he poses a risk to public safety, such that he cannot be trusted to use a weapon responsibly and should be deprived of his Second Amendment right to bear arms. He's not a citizen. He doesn't have the rights that citizens have. He doesn't have a Second Amendment right. He's here illegally. But they want to take your gun. Coleman, who was appointed under President Barack Obama, wrote her 8-page filing. He was charged under Title 18 of the U.S. Criminal Code, which legally disallows undocumented individuals to possess firearms and ammunition, or to receive any firearm or ammunition which has been shipped or transported in interstate or foreign commerce. So you can't even order one from somewhere else. So he has all of the benefits of being a citizen, all the rights of being a citizen, but none of the responsibilities of being a citizen. So part of being a citizen is that you legally acquire a firearm. So he gets his Second Amendment rights that he's not entitled to and doesn't have to have the normal level of responsibility that that citizens have to have. It just it just makes me insane. Doesn't that make you crazy? I'm looking here just to check on comments. So ah! I almost thought I shouldn't do a show today because I'm at that point. Ah! But I thought, you know what? They might be at that point too. And me going a little nuts might kind of release some steam from their valve. This guy, are they transfer him back to his foreign country or is he staying here? Oh, no, no, he's staying here. He's not being deported. What are they going to do with him? He's not here legal. They should make him go back. I agree. Here, you can swim back. I mean, figure it out. So not only do you get to stay, not only do you get the rights of legal citizens, but you also get to break laws in ways that legal citizens can't. I I just I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Maybe I am. Maybe I am taking crazy pills. Maybe none of this is real. And I'll wake up in the morning when the crazy pills wear off and everything will be back to normal. I doubt it. I doubt it. Okay, let's talk about Don Lemon because why not? He's he's endless entertainment for me. Okay, just want to make sure you guys could see. Check out the insane list of demands Don Lemon. So Don Lemon is pissing and moaning and whining because he had some deal to have something with Twitter, so he could have his show on there. And Elon canceled that agreement with him. He can still have his show on Twitter, but Twitter will not be paying him. They won't be any part of it. He'll have to do like what I do, hope for donations, super chats, things like that. Um, and why shouldn't he? Why shouldn't he have to do that? Why is he entitled to this deal with Elon Musk? And wait to see what this guy wanted. I'm telling you, what a pretentious jerk. So Lemon was set up for a comeback of sorts due to the generosity of Elon Musk. Lemon was going to have a show on X that probably would have reached more people than anything he ever did on CNN, but the show was dropped. So even though it was dropped, he can still do his show. He's just not in a partnership with them. Lemon ran right back to CNN to cry about censorship, proving that he hasn't changed one bit. Now we're learning that Lemon made insane demands from Musk. He clearly has an inflated sense of self-worth. This guy is is a sexual assaulter. He if your kids are listening, I'm sorry. Giving you a second. He stuck his hand down some man's pants at a gay bar, groped him. I won't tell the thing he did next because that's really gross. Um, and he's still somehow trying to be relevant. I mean, he should be in jail. Don Lemon demanded the sun, the moon, and the stars from the SpaceX boss before being unceremoniously dumped this week. And the other thing he did was he interviewed Elon Musk, knowing he wanted a contractual agreement with Elon Musk for this show, and then acted like a total idiot interviewing him. Was rude and dismissive because I don't know if he thinks because he's black and gay he can just crap all over everybody and demand the world. That seems like what he thinks. The ex-CNN anchor sent over an astronomical wish list to Elon Musk during contract talks to host a show on the billionaire's social media platform, X. And this is the thing about having FU money. Like a lot of us have some money, and some of us, not me, but some of us have a lot of money. Elon Musk has got FU money, which is a nice place to be, including a free Tesla Cybertruck, a $5 million upfront payment on top of an $8 million salary. This guy is jobless. An equity stake in the multi-billion-dollar company and the right to approve any changes in X's policy as it relates to news content. So you think you basically should have a board seat? What on earth? Lemon, who was expected to air an interview with Musk for next week's debut episode on X, had also demanded a private jet flight to Las Vegas, a suite for he and his fiancee, and that the company pay for their day drinking and massages, a source with knowledge of the situation said. Musk agreed to do the interview with Lemon despite the fact that he was aware of some of Lemon's outlandish demands. Don Lemon is not very smart. His ex show could have been the best thing that ever happened to his career, but he was too greedy and self important to recognize it. You deserve what you got, brother. Knock it off. Just can't. Let me, oh, goodness, you guys are chatty. Hold on. And then they wonder why people in our state are sticking up for ourselves and we're going to take our gun rights back. Somebody told me to get my gun license because it's getting harder now. Um, you don't necessarily just look depends on the state that you live in. Like I don't have to have a license to carry a gun. I have to fill out a background check to purchase one. Kentucky isn't even a concealed carry state, so you can like I don't have to have a permit to conceal carry. Not since 2019. Um, and if you're a woman, I recommend concealed carrying because you're a woman, you're not as strong as a man would be unless you're some incredible species of woman. Um, and it would be very easy to disarm you. So I think it's best that people don't see your gun on you. But if you carry a gun, you probably know that. NMS, hi Penny. I was finally able to watch live today. Prayers for Kitty. Thank you so much. That's very sweet. And welcome. I'm glad you're here with us. Now, if I can, oh, Summer. He could at least have waited until after signing. Right? How dumb are you? Dumb are you? Like you're getting ready to sign the contract. You're interviewing Elon Musk. Does he not understand? Like, this guy's now basically going to be your boss. I, like, is he? I guess he's always been catered to, because why would you think you could talk to your boss like that? I've had lots of bosses. I never would have acted the way he acted in that interview. I mean, it was just comical. And Elon Musk is looking at him. Uh-oh, Tina Patriot Feed, you got to go. Hold on, let's banish her forever. Don't put links in my chat unless you want to. Do a super chat and pay for it for 5 minutes forever. And let's do, there we go. Bot in the chat. I got him. I think it should make like a sound every time you do that. Sorry if that hurt your ears. Um, okay. Wait, didn't the Supreme Court say that concealed carry license is not a thing anymore? It depends on the state. I think they can't really do that. It would be left to the states. And so in Kentucky, you don't need one. But I know there are other states where you do. It just depends. You can just Google that. Okay, the other big news today, Miss Candace Owens gets, I don't know if she was let go or if she just ended her contract, or we're not getting the details, and we probably won't. But she says, the rumors are true. I'm finally free. If you would like to support my work, you can head to CandaceOwens.com, where you'll be directed to my locals page, or you can give a gift at gocandace.com. There will be many announcements in the weeks to come. So Candace Owen is out at the Daily Wire. I'm quick. Um, she's out at the Daily Wire. So if you guys haven't been keeping, I like Candace Owen. If you haven't been keeping up with what's going on at the Daily Wire, so Ben Shapiro works at the Daily Wire, and I think he's part owner. I can't remember how that goes, but he's Jewish. Candace Owens is a Christian, and Candace Owens has been speaking out about um, the what is the word I'm looking for? The like where you're not being careful about who you're killing. So a lot of kids are ending up dead in Palestine. A lot of women are ending up dead. And basically what she said is the same things that I've been saying. Um, Co-founder, thank you so much, Summer. The same things I've been saying is that we don't indiscriminate. We don't want to be indiscriminate in war when we can avoid it. So, like, there was a situation where a bunch of Palestinians had been routed to this place for their own safety by the Israelis, and they were there at this spot to get food. And something happened, and the Israelis opened fire, and a bunch of people who were just there to get food got killed. Who knows what the real story is? I don't know. You don't know either. We're not there. And there's so much propaganda that comes from both sides during war. That's true for us. It's true for everyone. And so all the fact remains that all these kids are ending up dead. Now there's a faction of people who believe that you should annihilate everyone there. You should kill them down to the babies, the women, everybody. Because the Palestinians or Hamas is such a problem. I just I can't stomach that. I just can't. And some of the pictures that have circulated of um what is it called? What is their military? Is it the IDF? I can't think of what it's called. Yeah, I think it's the IDF. Pictures of soldiers like in babies' playpen snuggling a um, bear. I don't know if these are real or not. Um, if they're not real, they need to come out and say they're not real. You're late to the party. It's okay, love. Um, it just looks really bad. And most people do not, and I'm not saying that America's not guilty of the same thing, going in and indiscriminately killing people during war. I'm just saying that it's wrong no matter who does it. If you're targeting sites where women and children are, and I understand that Hamas uses women and children as shields, it's a terrible situation. I get that. I don't know what the answer is. For me, the thing that would make the most sense would be to pressure the surrounding countries, Yemen, Egypt, all these other people. I would pressure or incentivize them to take the Palestinians. Um, if there is a terrorist element within the Palestinians, they're less likely to act out in countries where the Muslim faith is large, where there's a lot of people there. I think um, there's something to be said for reducing violence by diluting a people group, and if that's racist, you just let me know and I'll walk it back. But it is true. Like if you got a bunch of teenagers who are being um, aggressive at a school and they're beating up on everybody, and you split them up and send them to different schools, that aggressive behavior slows down because now they're outnumbered by kids that are from that region, from that school that aren't, and they're not in a group anymore. So they're less trouble. And so that may not be a great solution. It's just one that I thought of. So if you could get Egypt and some of these surrounding countries to take these refugees in, um, dilute that people group a little bit, get them in a functional society, get them working, get them jobs, get them placed. I mean, it's not like there's that many people that need to go. Um, and it's never going to work. As long as there has been Israel and Palestine, there has been fighting, and it's both sides. There's problems on both sides. And I say that as a Christian, who believes the Bible about the Jews being God's chosen people, but that doesn't excuse everything that's done. It's kind of like it feels like it's that our culture has gotten to this point where, like, if I want to criticize a politician for their policies, and that politician happens to be black, it doesn't matter that I'm criticizing them for their policies. The way it will be spun is I'm criticizing them because I'm racist. That's not it at all. It's not. I don't care what color you are. Your policies suck. AOC's policies suck. Cory Booker's policies suck. Um, uh, Jamie Raskin sucks. I could list Republicans. Eye patch sucks, needs to go. You don't care what color he is. And I think the same is true for a country. Like the United States is in large part responsible for what's going on in Haiti because we made Haiti take a president that they didn't want. And then this group comes in and overthrows them. The same thing happened in Ukraine. We overthrew the president basically through the CIA of Ukraine, installed Zelensky, and now look what's going on because that's who we wanted. That was the mission we wanted. The United States has got its fingers in every pie and we need to stop it. We need to be non-interventionist unless it affects us, unless there's a genocide going on. I think we ought to stay out of it. I don't think we ought to be fighting other people's wars. There, I'm less of a conservative thinker and more of a libertarian. I try not to pigeonhole myself into a party. Summer says this is a very complex situation, and the fact is that Hamas beliefs are so ingrained in the Palestinian population. I agree. And there's the argument that, well, these kids are going to be raised by parents who are going to instill terroristic ideas in them. I know, but we still don't kill kids. We don't kill kids. You know, if you go to a minority neighborhood where there's a lot of crime, there's a chance that the kids growing up there will grow up and engage in crime because that's the environment that they're in. Do we kill them? No, we don't do that. We try to instill policies that would help that not happen, or at least that's what we should do. I know the other surrounding countries don't want them either, and I think that's why you need to incentivize that. You know, if everybody does a little bit, um, then it doesn't all fall to one country. You know, if you say, "Well, you take 1,000, will you take 1,000, will you take 1,000," and you spread them throughout the Middle East, there's a whole different situation there. The thing is that the majority of Hebrews and Israelis are Democrat supporters. I know. So they get what they voted for. I know, but the people in Israel, well, yeah, you're right there too. The Israelis love leftism until something affects them. You're right. You're not wrong, and I don't think it's anti-Semitic to say that. And I hate this whole you can't give any kind of critique because then you're an anti-Semite. No, that's not true. Um, you can give a critique about nurses. It doesn't mean you're anti-nursing because it destabilizes those other countries. Right. That's why I'm saying dilute it. You don't want to take a big group of people. You know, 1,000 people in a country is not going to change your demographics very much. And and the thing is they're going to bring them here and we're the cause of a lot of their problems. How you think that's going to go? News has been so sad, but we do have more access than ever before. I do love that we have Rumble and we can actually talk about what's going on. Like, you're not going to hear the conversation that we're having in mainstream media. Well, the thing is what you're going to get if you watch Fox News, anything, is somebody sitting reading a script. They can't have you ever noticed, like, when the teleprompter's messing up, that even on Fox News, they don't know what to say. They're stuck. They're waiting for the teleprompter to catch up. It's because everything they say is scripted. Nothing here is scripted. If you watch my show, you watch Red Pill, you watch Salty, none of us are reading scripts. We have we have educated ourselves enough on the issues that we can speak um, smartly about them. You know, and that's not what you're getting on CNN. You know, it's all just such a mess. It kills me that people even still watch. You're much better off with citizen journalism because you're at least going to get me saying, "Yeah, it's a huge problem. Um, I don't know what to do about it. Here are some ideas. They may not be good ideas. They may not work, but what they're doing now certainly isn't working." You know, and if you could I mean, there can't be that many thousands of people left in Palestine after all of this. Let's think about that. So why not? To me, it would make sense. Oh, wait, anyone watches Fox after Tucker left? You'd be surprised. Um, is it a great idea? No, but it's probably better than killing all those women and children, I'd have to say. And I think they have a better chance of assimilating into a Muslim culture and not being a problem if there's fewer of them, and they're spread out. Like I said, if you send a group of, a gang of teens who are terrorizing people at a school, and you split them all out and send two to a school here and two to a school there and two to a school there, problem solved. Now, might they connect with kids there that are problematic as well? Yes, but I mean, there's no perfect answer. Is my point, I guess. MSM, forget that people have family, friends, and coworkers around the world. Yeah, yeah. These people are just crazy. All right. Next, we got Kathy Hochul up because why not? I feel like I need to call Mr. Whitbroad, or Mr. Nurse Penny, as I sometimes call him, and say, it's Friday night. Bring home red wine. If red wine didn't give me a headache, I would absolutely drink it during the show, because this week I was just like, by Monday I had almost every story I was going to talk about, and then of course stuff hits on Friday. But it's just like, we need some good news. Anything at this point, something good. Um, everything that's going on with Trump, and we'll get to all of that. And no matter how you feel about Trump, what's going on is absolutely ridiculous. All right, this content is being shared. Of course it is. All right. Governor Kathy Hochul claims National Guard subway plan is working as expected, even after a man was shot with his own gun on a train. With his own? Yeah. So Governor Kathy Hochul defended her controversial initiative to flood the city's public transit system with National Guardsmen. You know what she didn't do? She didn't put any National Guardsmen on the dang subway itself. They're just in the tunnels. Like, why wouldn't you put them on the trains, you booger eating moron? The hell? This is where women are being raped, people are being attacked. This is where Daniel Penny had to wrestle that guy to the ground, and the guy ended up dying. Um, but Daniel Penny was trying to, even the people on the train said he was trying to protect them. This guy was out of control, was going to do something nuts. So she's not smart enough. She gets the National Guard down there, but doesn't have any of them riding the damn trains. She says it's going as planned. Even as terrified, I don't even know what that word is, vowed to avoid the rails after this week's shooting on a packed A train. My objective was to make sure the National Guard is in our main transit hubs. You can see them at Grand Central Station and other places. You know what they're doing? They're checking bags. We need them to disarm gunmen so they can free up NYPD cops. How'd that work for you? Hochul told reporters at the St. Patrick's Day parade, ay vey. Under Hochul's order, 750 National Guardsmen and 250 state and MTA cops were sent to patrol subway stations, a decision she staunchly defended as a crime deterrent. That, do you remember when Donald Trump was offering National Guardsmen to New York for security and to Minneapolis and to Washington D.C., and all we heard about was about how bad that would be and what would people think of having soldiers, and as though our National Guardsmen are enemies or something. It would be like having stormtroopers. And do you remember this? And here they're doing it. After the deployment began earlier this month, Straffingers, oh, it's the guy, okay, entering. What is Straffingers? Entering the subway were greeted by camouflaged and gun-toting soldiers at bag search checkpoints. What good are those guns if you're not on the train? What is Straffingers? Alexa, what does Straffingers mean?
Scavengers is a form
Yeah,
of
she
the
doesn't
noun
know either.
scavenger.
Alexa,
It's
stop.
used to define a-
Alexa, what is Straffingers?
We don't need to know. Will you check on Mr. Gray, please?
Yes.
How was your day? Kiss me.
Yes. Aye, aye, sir.
You're red.
Yeah.
Windy?
Windburn.
Yeah. See, Mr. Whitbrook kissed me, and now I can't figure out what I was doing. New York City Council Minority Leader Joe Burrell, a Republican from Staten Island, told the Post he finds Hochul's remarks about her subway safety initiative going as expected, both scary and head scratching. Yeah, me too. We had a week of shootings and attacks on the subway. So, how can this be going to plan? He said. Borelli also quipped that the governor lives in two worlds, one where the subway is safe and her congestion toll plan for cars entering Manhattan below 60th Street is viable, and another where the subway system is so dangerous that she felt it necessary to send in the National Guard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Neither of those worlds can be the same, but in the governor's opinion, they are. Representative Nicole Malliotakis, Republican from Staten Island, Brooklyn, said Hochul's cavalier attitude shows just how disconnected she and other Democrats are from the reality of what New Yorkers are facing each and every day, both in the subways and above ground. She also said that New York would be better served having the National Guardsmen protecting our northern border instead of flooding the subway. I think she's wrong about that. I think they need to get these guys on the train. There's no replacement for the NYPD, she said. We need more police officers in our subways. Well, they fired them, so this is the result. Now you've got to get the National Guard in there. Hochul's critics, or they retired or quit because they couldn't work for her anymore. Hochul's critics also include former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who slammed his successor's decision to deploy the National Guard, arguing instead for more police officers. Aren't these the same people who wanted to defund the police? Do you see the craze? This is why I need wine. It's terrible. Cuomo on Thursday claimed Hochul's directive is useless, saying it cannot serve as a viable long-term solution to combat crime. Maybe your sanctuary city status is a problem. I don't know. Like I'm no political genius, but I think I can figure this out. Hochul skirted questions about how truly effective the National Guard can be if they're not armed and patrolling the subways like cops. They look armed to me. Instead, she said the National Guard is just part of her larger plan to improve subway safety, adding their presence should also free up more NYPD cops to patrol the subway station. She said the plan also includes targeting repeat offenders of subway crime by what? Sending them to jail, then releasing them? And getting people with severe mental illness off our. How exactly does having the National Guard at the subway get people with severe. Are they like screening them for mental illness as they come in? No. Earlier Saturday, Mayor Eric Adams also downplayed Thursday's A train shooting by declaring the Big Apple is still the safest big city in America. How many of you are planning your vacation to go to New York, if you can even afford a vacation? I'm guessing not many. Hold on, hold on. Oh my goodness. Um, we will allow it. Mr. Sexy Pants himself. I know, right? Callie Jim says, I cooked with wine and was able to drink it years ago. Then all of a sudden, wine gave me headaches. Yeah, red wine is more known to give you headaches. What is it, the sulfites in it or something? I can't do red, and I love red wine. I love a good Malbec, but I can't. I can drink white wine, but it's just so sweet. Maybe what do I need if I want a dry white wine that's not sweet. Since she wore that necklace and was evangelizing about the vaccine like an apostle, she lost me. Yeah, me too. Yeah, when you start using religion to push big pharma, I'm out. I'm out. I mean, I don't believe in using religion to push much of anything, but hello there. All right, catch up on comments here. I don't mind seeing men strapped with big guns. No, me neither. I was out with my dad this week, and I wasn't carrying, but he was, and I felt very safe. I will tell him you said hi. He's checking on Mr. Gray. Don't tourists ride subways? I think they do. Well, they're saying that people are spending a small fortune on Uber now because they don't have cars, a lot of them in New York, and they're scared to ride the subways. A show with wine would be awesome. I'd be stupid like 4 sips in, though. Try Trump wine. Somebody send me some Trump wine and I will try it on the air. You just email me and I will give you my address. Drink dry. I don't know what wines are dry. S- Put that up there. I need to know. Email me a list of what some good dry white wines are. Or are you saying if I drink a dry red, it wouldn't give me a headache? I just have such headaches with red. How did we get off on this topic? Because the news is so bad, it's driving me to want to drink during my shows. Oh my gosh, you gotta laugh or you'll cry. Okay. Then let's go ahead and talk about Eric Adams, because why not, right? This guy's gotten himself into some trouble. We'll see if it's true. I take all of these sexual assault allegations with a grain of salt since what's her face? The one they're trying to bring back that said Kavanaugh raped her. What is her name? Oh, I can't think of it. The most unbelievable woman in the world. All right, here we go. Graphic details emerge in alleged sexual assault case against New York Mayor Eric Adams, calling him a predator. In November, the Gateway Pundit reported on allegations of sexual assault against embattled New York City Mayor Eric Adams, stemming from an incident in 1993. Okay, look, I was raped in college. That was 1989, I think. If that guy ran for office today, I would not come out with those allegations. First of all, at this late stage in the game, I don't have any proof of it. Um, even when I went to authorities at the time, they were like, it's basically a he said, she said, we can't do anything about it. That's a lot of how it was handled on college campuses in those days and still today, actually. Um, but I just, you don't have any proof. And I think it's wrong to come forward about something that you have no evidence of. I mean, I guess, I don't know. As a rape victim, I'm kind of torn on that, or survivor or overcomer. The accuser filed a summons Wednesday night after the Adult Survivors Act, the same law that allowed E. Jean Carroll to go after Trump 30 years later. See, this is your own policies biting you in the ass. So they got this adult survivors thing going, and it was Kellyanne Conway's husband who did it, just so E. Jean Carroll could go after Trump. with no proof of what she said happened to her. The plaintiff accuses Eric Adams of sexually assaulting her. So I guess this is just them getting bitten in the ass by their own chicanery. Um, of sexually assaulting her when they both worked for the city of New York. The plaintiff is seeking $5 million. I'm sorry, if you can't prove something, you don't get money. Further details have emerged in new court papers alleging Adams was seeking a sexual favor from the alleged victim in 1993 while he was a police officer in exchange for helping her in her career. Okay, ladies only. If you're my age, 50 or up, let's say 40 or up, how many times in your life, I'm guessing everybody's going to say at least once, has somebody who was in a management, a supervisor position over you, touched you inappropriately, said something inappropriate to you, indicated to you that if you did something sexual for them, that they would get you a promotion or that they just wanted you to do something sexual for them? Because, and I'm not saying it's right. I've had this happen to me multiple times and I don't think it's worth $5 million. I just think that's crazy. Um, and I would say probably most women in the chat will say something like that has happened to them at work. Defendant Adams preyed on her perceived vulnerability, demanding a quid pro quo sexual favor and sexually assaulting the plaintiff, revealing himself not to be the guardian he reported to be, but a predator, charges the suit filed in Manhattan Supreme Court on Monday. Maybe she has some proof. I don't know. Beach Mathura claims that Adams drove her to a vacant lot and requested oral from him. And when she refused, he put her hand on his man parts. When she took her hand away, Adams allegedly took care of business himself and got her messy in the process. Adams has denied knowing Beach Mathura and denied the incident. Adams is also under federal investigation. So he wasn't under federal investigation until he started complaining about all the migrants. The FBI seized New York City Mayor Eric Adams' cell phones and 2 iPads amid a federal corruption investigation related to his 2021 campaign. The Gateway Pundit reported that the FBI conducted a raid on the Brooklyn residence of Brianna Suggs, the chief fundraiser for New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The feds are focusing on text messages suggesting embattled New York City Mayor Eric Adams helped fast track approvals from the city's building department and fire department for the Turkish government's headquarters in New York City. Well, I'm sure that's just business as usual in New York City. Whoa, goodness, you guys. Hold on. I got to get your chat caught up. I leave you for a minute. Um, I'll send you some red wine selections. Thank you for that. That's very helpful. Malbec bourbon. See, I love Malbec. I'll have to try Malbec again and see if it gives me a headache. I know Cabernets do. It's the sulfites, I think. She may remember the size. Oh my gosh, you did not just say that and I didn't just pop it onto the screen. I'll just say the less expensive reds do not give me a headache. Okay, good to know. I mean, I'm not drinking expensive reds. I'm a simple girl here. Oh, the stupid chat. I want to just go up one. There's a way to do this, but I can't figure it out. Yeah, okay. So everywhere I've worked, yes, happened, married and unmarried. Yep. If can I just go down just a teeny weeny bit? Teeny weeny. Also, a red blend is good. Okay. Happens a lot. The harassment. Yes. Do you think it's worth $5 million? I had this guy named Craig that I worked with, who knew I was married, had actually met Mr. Whitbroat, and rolled his chair across the hall where I was working, and I was sitting on the other side of the hall charting, and basically asked me to have sex with him. And I'm like, I'm married, you're disgusting, and you're a horrible person for trying to cheat on your wife and family. And he was trying for a supervisor position. Well, he had had to leave the job that he was at before for sexually harassing people. Do I think that comment was worth $5 million? No. I think that where there are men and women working together, somebody's going to be inappropriate at some point, and you just put a stop to it yourself. If it continues, that's a different situation. I mean, if that actually happened to her, yeah, he should be charged and should go to jail for it. But I don't think she gets $5 million. Followed and added to watch later. Thanks, Kelly Jim. All right, did I catch you guys up? I love that you guys are chatty tonight. All right, let me shuck this one. All right. Oh, this Blaze reporter that they've arrested. Where is it? There it is. Okay, let's make sure you can see. Okay, Jim Jordan demands answers about the DOJ's persecution of Blaze investigative reporter Steve Baker. This is by Jordan Boyd. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan wants President Joe Biden's Department of Justice to explain why it targeted Blaze investigative reporter Steve Baker for covering the J6 chaos at the Capitol. Baker, one of the leading conservative journalists covering the fallout at the Capitol, faces 4 charges connected to his presence while reporting at the demonstrations. In a letter penned on March 12th, Jordan demanded U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Matthew Graves, hand over documents, communications, and other information related to Baker's arrest and charges, as well as the investigation, prosecution, or arrest of any journalist covering the events. There are serious concerns about selective prosecution in this case, as well as the department's commitment to the First Amendment rights of journalists, Jordan warned. The Republican noted that other journalists were in the Capitol at the same time as Mr. Baker, reporting for other agencies that are MSM left leaning, who have not been charged with crimes. But Baker, who had been critical of the department's handling of the J6 investigations and prosecutions, was. As Mr. Baker's attorney noted, the department is not allowed to decide what press coverage it likes and what press coverage offends it and take prosecutorial action based on those judgments. The FBI told Baker last month to turn himself in without disclosing the exact charges he would face. When Baker surrendered in Dallas on March 1st, the FBI fingerprinted, photographed, handcuffed, and placed Mr. Baker in the back of an FBI vehicle, transported him to the courthouse, brought him in before the magistrate judge in a belly chain, box cuffs, and leg shackles. Are you kidding me with this? Mr. Baker's counsel, a former federal prosecutor, stated that in his long career with the department, he never once saw an initial appearance on misdemeanor charges where the defendant was told to report first to the FBI to be fingerprinted and photographed before going to the courthouse. Not only did Jordan say not only did Jordan say this conduct smacks of harassment and selective treatment for a disfavored criminal defendant, but he also wrote that the DOJ's actions inherently contradict its alleged principles. The disparate treatment of disfavored groups violates the department's mission of equal justice under the law. Jordan also noted that members of the Judiciary Committee filed an amicus brief to the Supreme Court, which is considered so an amicus brief is like a friend of the court brief, which is considering whether the department has improperly interpreted a financial crime statute to sentence J6 defendants to 20 years prison terms, focused on explaining how the department's conduct criminalizes politics and weaponizes the administration of justice. All of these issues raise concerns about Biden administration's commitment to equal justice and application of the law. Yes, it absolutely does. That's horrible. Horrible, horrible. And what's interesting is while what was the fellow's name again? I forgot. Hold on. Steve Baker. While Steve Baker was in the Capitol building, he actually helped police officers in several incidents. He's got the whole thing recorded, and they didn't have any problem with him until he started critically reporting what was actually going on. And then they basically told him they were coming to get him. Terrible, terrible. All right, let's talk about Fanny, because again, why not? Oh, she's the gift that keeps on giving, isn't she, folks? Okay, hold on. Fanny. All right, there it goes. Okay, new book admits Fannie Willis Get Trump investigation began with an illegal recording. And this is one of the charges that Judge McAfee threw out was this recording because it was done illegally. So the recording of let me just give you the background. The recording that so when Trump supposedly called Raffensperger and said find the votes, that wasn't the whole story. The whole story was he and Raffensperger were talking about how many illegitimate votes that they knew there were. And he was like, well, if there's all these illegitimate votes, just throw those out. Like, why are you keeping them in? Just find those votes. And so they made it sound like he was trying to get him just to randomly find some votes that would help Trump win, but that's not what was going on. Well, that phone call was recorded in Florida. Even though the conversation, I don't know if the president was in Florida at the time when this happened. I would think not. But somehow the recording party was in Florida. Well, in order to record uh, somebody in Florida, it's a two-party state. So both people that are being recorded have to know. And because that wasn't done, then everything that comes from that becomes fruit of the poisonous vine in legal speak, and it gets thrown out because the phone call itself was illegal. And so that is one of the charges that McAfee threw out. So McAfee was the judge that had to decide whether to disqualify Fani Willis or not. So, with Fani Willis repeatedly saying the entire investigation into Republicans was the result of an illegally recorded phone call, she said it herself. Democrat Fani Willis' legal troubles extend beyond recent revelations that she deceptively hired her otherwise underqualified secret married lover to run the political prosecution of former President Trump and other Republicans in Georgia. A new book from Mike Isaacoff and Daniel Klaidman admits that a widely misunderstood phone call on which Willis's political prosecution rests was illegally recorded. That means the entire prosecution could crumble with defendants having a new avenue to challenge Democrat lawfare. All these cases are falling apart. Find Me the Votes, a hard charging Georgia prosecutor, a rogue president, and the plot to steal an American election, is a fawning political biography of Willis. For context on the bias of the authors, Isaacoff was an original Russia collusion hoaxer, and his articles to that end were used to secure warrants for the FBI to spy on innocent Republican presidential campaign advisors, such as Carter Page. These people they're the gift that keeps giving. For years, the media and other Democrats have held up Willis as a brilliant, incredible prosecutor of Republicans. The new book suffers from poor timing, with Willis, gotta love it, biting him in the ass, with Willis and her lover accused of perjury, subornation of perjury, bribery, and kickbacks related to the prosecution. Willis could be removed from prosecution as early as this week. I think that's before that McAfee's ruling came down. Nevertheless, the book shares interesting details about Willis's father, John C. Floyd, and his radical past. Described as a one-time radical activist who considered the police to be the enemy and an occupying army, Floyd founded the Black Panther political party of Los Angeles and said of it, "Our political philosophy is black nationalism." He took former Communist Party vice presidential nominee Angela Davis as a lover and lived with her prior to her being placed on the FBI's most wanted list for purchasing the gun used to murder a Marin County, California judge. This is Fanny's dad. Willis, who was raised by her father, worked for Beverly Hills attorney Howard Schmuckler, there's a name, before he was disbarred and also before he was imprisoned for running a fraudulent mortgage rescue company. She worked for another lawyer in Atlanta who was disbarred for tipping off a drug dealer to an impending DEA raid. At that firm, she represented a crack dealer who turned out to be the male stripper at her bachelorette party. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And worked with Keisha Lance Bottoms, a former Atlanta mayor and now a top domestic policy advisor to President Joe Biden. Isaacoff provides these details to help readers understand how Willis became the kind of law and order DA who would unflinchingly take on Donald Trump. Willis ran on pledges to restore professionalism and sexual ethics to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office and to begin to deal with the backlog of 11,000 unindicted homicides, assaults, shootings, and other crimes. Instead, the night before her official first day, word leaked of a recent phone call between Trump and Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. The phone call had been dishonestly portrayed by Trump opponents, and Willis hoped that Raffensperger had been in Fulton County for the call, so she could prosecute Trump based on that false understanding of the call. When she showed up for her first day of work, according to the book, I just remember sitting down and looking at the TV and thinking, maybe he was in Fulton County, she recalled, her county. However, the person who recorded the phone call wasn't in Fulton County or even Georgia. That's a problem. Jordan Fuchs. I could have messed that one up. I've done it before. A political activist who serves as Raffensperger's chief of staff was in Florida, where it is illegal to record a call. So they're setting him up. You see this, right? He's calling Raffensperger. Raffensperger has got his chief of staff, who's in Florida, recording the phone call. Where it is illegal to record a call without all parties to the call consenting to the recording. She neither asked for nor received consent to record. Fuchs was one of the main sources for Isaacoff and Clademan's books, they admit in their acknowledgments. While they reward her with effusive praise throughout, she comes off very poorly. For example, she offers a frankly unhinged conspiracy theory that President Trump was planning to lose the 2020 election as early as May of 2020 and was therefore floating a plan with Washington Post reporters to win the election in Georgia through the legislature. This doesn't even make any sense. She describes how she invented a new policy to block public view of an election audit. She indicates such little knowledge of election laws and processes that she seems to think Georgia requires voters to use social security numbers to vote. She's a real genius. Fuchs is instead described as a street smart deputy of Raffensperger who is obsessed with personal slights, political payback, and her hatred of Trump, his supporters, and his team. Her previous dabbling in the occult is contextualized along with her shocking lack of knowledge of election law and processes, which brings us to the illegally taped phone call. Unlike many of her fellow Republican consultants with whom she had worked, Fuchs has a friendly working relationship with members of the Fourth Estate. Isaacoff and Clademan write before describing Fuchs' regular leaks to the Washington Post, which conservatives despise for its left wing propaganda, hoaxes such as the Russia collusion lie, and smears of conservatives such as Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Fuchs first gave the Washington Post fabricated quotes they later had to retract about a phone call President Trump had with someone in the elections office. Though Fuchs was not busted for her lie until March of 2021, months after the fabricated quotes were used to impeach President Trump, the authors of the book say the embarrassment of being found out taught her the importance of recording phone calls, such as the early January 2021 call that forms the basis of Willis's investigation. They do not explain how this lesson worked in terms of the space time continuum. In any case, Fuchs recorded a phone call between Trump, Raffensperger, and their associates. Fuchs ended the call by saying they should get off the phone and work to preserve the relationship between the two offices. Instead, she immediately leaked the call to the Washington Post, which published it hours later. This is where the authors of the book admit that the very recording of the call was a crime. Fuchs has never talked publicly, this is a quote from the book, about her taping of the phone call. She learned, after the fact, that Florida, where she was at the time, is one of 15 states that require two-party consent for the taping of phone calls. A lawyer for Raffensperger's office asked the J6 committee not to call her as a witness for reasons the committee's lawyers assumed were due to her potential legal exposure. The committee agreed. But when she was called before a Fulton County special grand jury convened by Fani Willis, she was granted immunity and confirmed the taping according to three sources with direct knowledge of her testimony. Republicans had long suspected Fuchs was the source of the audio taped call and further that she had illegally recorded it in Florida. Fuchs had noted in a Facebook post that she was in Florida visiting family around the time of the call. The book describes the close working relationship and secret collaboration of the Liz Cheney-led J6 committee and Fani Willis's prosecutorial team. Fuchs should have been a major part of the televised show trial Cheney put on, further convincing Republicans that Fuchs had illegally taped the call and Cheney was helping cover that up. Incidentally, the book portrays Cheney as the real leader of the J6 committee, that she viewed it as a platform for her to resuscitate her political career and would provide a springboard for a Cheney presidential run. That didn't work out, did it? The authors go on to say that Fuchs would attempt to escape prosecution for the call if a Florida official brought charges, by claiming she taped and immediately leaked the call to the Washington Post for law enforcement purposes. The authors somewhat hilariously describe this claim as an ineffective defense, or as an effective defense. It is not. The problem for Fannie Willis's political prosecution is that the book convincingly shows the entire prosecution rests on a piece of evidence that everyone now knows was illegally obtained. Never mind that the evidence has also been completely misinterpreted. And Fuchs did what was arguably the single gutsiest and most consequential act of the entire post election battle, the authors write. Without telling Raffensperger or Meadows, she taped the call. It was all the evidence Fannie Willis needed to get started. They write of the leaked recording, adding, the recording was the single piece of damning evidence that had launched the investigation. With this evidence provided in the hagiography of Willis, those persecuted by her political prosecution could argue the entire investigation is corrupted by the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. I mean, Fannie Willis knows that the call was illegally taped. She knows that it was misinterpreted. She knows that she wasn't supposed to be sleeping with Nathan Wade, and she knows she's not supposed to lie about that on interrogatories or lie in court about it, lie to the judge, lie to the public. I mean, it boggles the mind. Fruit of the poisonous tree is a doctrine that extends the exclusionary role to make evidence inadmissible in court if it was derived from evidence that was illegally obtained. As the metaphor suggests, if the evidential tree is tainted, so is its fruit. The doctrine was established in 1920 by the decision in Silverthorne Lumber Company versus United States, and the phrase fruit of the poisonous tree was coined by Justice Frankfurter, gotta love that, in his 1939 opinion in Nardone versus United States. The rule typically bars even testimonial evidence resulting from excludable evidence, such as a confession. With Fannie Willis repeatedly saying the entire investigation into Republicans was the result of a phone call that was illegally recorded, defendants might pursue legal recourse, as they should. It's the latest challenge for Willis, even if the political ally judge reviewing whether she can continue prosecuting Georgia Republican rules in her favor, which he did. Great, great job. Who wrote this one? Was this Miranda? Let's see. Oh, Molly Hemingway. Great job, Molly Hemingway from the Federalist. Great, great news site. Let me see. Goodness, comments. Um, she had CAT scan maybe, but they do not think the abscess is pressing on her frontal lobe and optic nerve. Yes, I forgot to put that on our prayer list. Roy Rat, friend, has a brain abscess. Okay, so they do not think the abscess is pressing on her frontal lobe and optic nerve. Oh, they don't think it's cancer. Okay. She is back at home, but still needs a lot of care until she can get in for a PET scan, upcoming PET scan. I'll put that on the prayer list. PET scan. Got it, bud. Summer. Is it me or these people appear to be picked as the worst? Fanny, Karine, Kamala. Isn't there one smart intersectional person? I'm sure this is what gets me. There are, I'm sure, tons of qualified um, minorities that would be good at these jobs. But I mean, I don't know. Like, what are they doing? There's got to be a great female black attorney out there who could properly prosecute a case. I think what it is they choose people who are dirty, and I'm going to flesh that out for you with Letitia James here in a minute. She sends her gratitude and love to all for helping, and so do I. Yes, yes. Yeah, if you guys, hey, you know what, Roy Rat, go ahead and drop that link in the chat for her GoFundMe. Roy Rat has a friend who's got an abscess in her brain. It's causing issues with her vision. She needs to have expensive medical tests done, and she's really struggling to afford that. Um, Roy Rat, if you can drop that in the chat for us, and then if you guys feel compelled, you can go and donate. If not, please pray for her. I had to look up what a DAT scan was. Yeah, I'll have to look that up too. I'm not sure what that is. All right. So the next story we're going to do is on Letitia James because here's another crooked prosecutor doing what she accused Trump of doing. I mean, it just gets better and better. Why? Let me show my screen here. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's close the Book Admits. Close that one. Okay, it's New York Times. Sorry. I don't know why they're making these so hard to see. There we go. All right, let me make sure you guys can see again. All right. An Irish society, and this is Miranda Devine, also does excellent work. She's over at the Post, New York Post. An Irish society, an unpaid loan, and the hypocrisy of Letitia James. To celebrate St. Patrick's Day, here's a tale of financial shenanigans at an American Irish Historical Society in which Trump deranged New York Attorney General Letitia James is hoist by her own petard. I'll have to look that saying up. It involves a grand old building on Fifth Avenue, an unpaid loan, a fading family dynasty, a James Joyce theatrical production, which almost ended in fisticuffs, and hypocrisy from the AG as obvious as a glass of green beer. It all began when James Doyle, a wealthy Georgia businessman with a love for his Irish roots, joined the board of the nonprofit society whose crown jewel is a rare Gilded Age mansion at 991 Fifth Avenue, right across from Central Park and the Met. Over the years, financial mismanagement and misfortune had befallen the society and it was facing foreclosure. So in 2017, the board turned to Doyle for a $3 million loan, structured like a private mortgage. He was told that the Beaux Arts townhouse was worth $80 million. That included valuable air rights over the building so they could build up. However, the society only made a few payments, and Doyle soon found things weren't quite as they seemed. So, fraud, basically. Um, that's Kevin Cahill scene with Robert De Niro, who was accused of treating the American Irish Historical Society as his own private club. Okay. The society had been dominated for a half century by the Cahill family, and President Emeritus Dr. Kevin Cahill was accused of treating the townhouse as his own private club, with one of his four sons, Christopher, becoming its well compensated executive director. According to the New York Times, Christopher earned $88,459 in 2020 and between $134,768 and $179,000 in previous years, according to his IRS returns. Cahill, a tropical disease specialist, said to have treated Pope John Paul II after he was shot, reportedly raised the money to renovate the mansion to its former glory when he took over in the 1970s. A stocky man with bushy white eyebrows, he would dress each year in morning coat and Irish tricolor sash to preside over the St. Patrick's Day parade from its Fifth Avenue balcony. He held a grand annual gala where he would hand out gold medals to the great and the good. Then, in 2019, his son Christopher, then 55, got embroiled in an ugly confrontation with the director of the Irish Repertory Theatre, which was staging a play in the townhouse adapted from the James Joyce short story The Dead. "I'm going to kill you, Ciaran," yelled Christopher while lunging at the director after the performance, according to the Times. The society's financial woes and dysfunction had reached a crisis point by 2021 when Cahill tried to sell the building for $52 million, later reduced to $44 million. He died the following year, and in stepped the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, citing a petition she had received opposing the sale. She announced that by state law, any sale of a nonprofit asset had to be approved by her, effectively kiboshing the plan. "It's an amazing place," James gushed to the Irish Voice. "We had to save it, had to save it. One day people can come in here and enjoy it again." Which was all very well, but Doyle is still owed his $3 million. The AG appointed an interim board of directors, and Doyle was persuaded not to try and collect his money or foreclose on the mortgage before July of 2023. But by August of 2023, he still hadn't been repaid, so he initiated foreclosure proceedings as is his right. and promptly was blocked by the AG, Letitia James, who claimed the mortgage was invalid because he was a board member. On Friday, Doyle launched a lawsuit against the society and requested a subpoena be issued against James, requiring her to produce a raft of documents, including anything relating to campaign events hosted at the townhouse or any contributions to her political campaigns from the society or any of its members or directors. Doyle's lawyer, Tim Parlator, alleges that James' enthusiastic involvement in the Doyle case may be driven by connections with the defendants. And he points out the uncanny similarities between his client's predicament and the notorious case James brought against Donald Trump for supposedly inflating the value of his properties to get a better mortgage, although her office is now taking a polar opposite position. The lawsuit alleges that Doyle was given fraudulently inflated valuations of the townhouse, which is what Letitia James accused Trump of doing and what that big judgment is all about, putting its market value at over 80 million. Cahill and the society's current president general, James Normile, made representations to Doyle that the building had air rights and could be built or rebuilt higher than its current height. In reality, there were no air rights, and the actual value is closer to 20 million. The society made a gross overvaluation of the townhouse, which induced Doyle to make a $3 million loan. And unlike the Trump case, there's actually a victim here. Doyle gave a $3 million loan and he's not being repaid because Letitia James is in the way. Tish James said, "Nobody is above the law," which should include Tish James, who seems to have actively aided and abetted in the art of the steal, Parlator told the Post. This organization fraudulently inflated the value of their building to induce my client into giving them a mortgage, which Tish James is now trying to help these fraudsters avoid having to pay. The theory of fraud Tish James accused the Trump organization of engaging in is identical to the fraud she is aiding and abetting here. James has come down on the side of the society against its lender, Doyle. And yet, in her signature case of People v. Trump, she took the opposite position, holding that where an organization inflates the value of a property to obtain a loan, that is fraud, even where the lender was aware of the actual value and was paid in full, which isn't even the case with Doyle. Trump was punished with a $355 million fine. So delighted was James by the verdict last month that she started live tweeting Trump's daily interest bill. Parlator points out that the society inflated the value of its property to obtain a loan, just like Trump was accused of doing. But the difference was that Doyle could not conduct the sort of sophisticated due diligence that Deutsche Bank did. Therefore, unlike Trump's lenders, Doyle didn't know the true value of the townhouse, which would be fraud. An even more important difference is that Trump paid back every penny he owed, but the society never paid back Doyle. As the old Irish proverb says, forgetting a debt doesn't mean it's paid. Isn't that terrible? Doesn't that sound just like these people? Oh, makes me so mad. Okay, hold on. I got to wait. Um, is it me or did these people do seem to be cherry picking. Oh, Peter Yeep. What's the link to, Peter? Um, oh, do not click on his link. Okay, he's a spammer. I've already permanently banned that account from numerous channels. Hold on a second. Let me get him banned. Peter. Now you done it, buddy. You're banned forever. Thanks for the heads up there, Roy Red. I appreciate that. Takes a village to get this show on the road, doesn't it? Okay, we got that one done. Let's see what we've got left here. Boy, we're running long tonight. That one you guys probably already know about. Okay, here we go. We'll do this one. That's a Gateway Pundit. Oh, wait, hold on. Get out of this real quick. Cancel. Got that. All right. Now let's share it. Well, oh, I see what's happening. That bar is sliding down. Weird. Okay, this is Gateway. There we go. Share. All right. Make sure you guys can see. Yep. Hunter Biden had access to Joe Biden's top secret SCIF designated materials including national defense info related to US troop deployment. Hunter Biden had access to then VP Joe Biden's SCIF, um, including troop deployment, while he was on vacation in Nantucket. Via Paul Sperry, China influence peddling Hunter Biden had access to top secret SCIF materials, including national defense information, U.S. troop deployments and movements while on vacation in Nantucket. I already said that. And they say it again. Gateway, come on. According to the emails uncovered from the laptop from hell, Hunter Biden sent his business partner, Devon Archer, a very detailed email on Ukraine on April 13th. This is actually old news, probably for a lot of you, but maybe for some of you, it'll be new. Um, on April 13th, 2014, just 1 week before Joe Biden visited Ukraine to meet with then Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk. And it appears Hunter Biden was emailing Devon Archer information he received from a briefing from his father, Joe Biden, or directly from top secret documents. A curiously well informed email about Ukraine, Russia, and the UK on Hunter Biden's laptop is a thread that links the president's classified documents scandal to the Delaware federal investigation into his son's foreign business dealings. Miranda Devine wrote. Miranda does such good work. Joe Biden stole SCIF designated classified documents and improperly stored them at the Penn Biden Center. So here's the deal with this. You know, they're saying, "Oh, as soon as he found out he had them, he gave them back." Well, not true, because Hunter Biden had access to this. So Joe Biden knew he had it. He let Hunter Biden see it. He didn't immediately call the FBI and say, "Hey, I found documents," or "My lawyer found documents," or "Hunter found documents." He waited years and years and years, but we still don't charge him. His Delaware garage is Virginia rental home and his lawyer's Boston office. Some of the most highly sensitive documents were stored at Penn Biden Center in an unlocked office and closet. According to special counsel Robert Hur, Joe Biden kept more than 600 pages. I think Trump's got like 32 pages or something. 600 pages of classified documents in his unlocked drawers and closets at the Penn Biden Center and stored some of them in dilapidated boxes in his garage. They identified numerous folders with eyes only for the vice president. Mr. Biden's office did not lock, Hur said in a 345-page report, and the adjoining outer office where Mr. Biden's executive assistant maintained his files was always accessible through Mr. Biden's office. In a footnote, Hur added that the vice president's office could only be locked from the inside using a panic button. Visitors from all walks of life, including dangerous actors from China and Ukraine, had access to the classified documents in the Penn Biden Center. There was virtually no real security at the Penn Biden Center, and in 2019, visitors no longer needed a key fob or security escort to access the floor where all the stolen classified documents were stored, according to Hur's report. Robert Hur also couldn't determine who had access to Biden's unsecured classified documents because the Penn Biden Center's security deleted all the visitor logs from 2017 to 2021. Isn't that convenient? Biden was still not charged, and none of his aides, handlers, or gatekeepers were charged with obstruction or conspiracy. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Hi from Saskatchewan. Hi. Wow. Welcome. Roy Rat's running out. Love to you, my friend, and I'll keep praying for your friend. Did I miss anything? Nope, we're caught up. All right. Now we've got another hunter story. It's just I don't know how these people aren't in jail yet. It's a mystery to me. I mean, I couldn't do half this crap. I'd be in so much trouble, you guys. Okay. Hunter Biden confesses he was paid by China, exposing one of his dad's biggest lies. This is by Jordan Boyd again. President Joe Biden claimed from the 2020 presidential debate stage that his son had not made money from China. But Hunter Biden confirmed on Wednesday that he received several payments from Chinese Communist Party linked companies and individuals. Hunter's confession, revealed during a closed door testimony to the House Oversight Committee, not only corroborates evidence uncovered by Republican impeachment investigators, but also invalidates claims made by Joe on the 2020 campaign trail to evade scrutiny for his involvement in Hunter's foreign business deals.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about? China.
You guys know the Princess Bride? Liar! Liar! According to the deposition transcript released Thursday, an unnamed interviewer asked Hunter to confirm or deny Joe's assertion that the Biden family never received any money from China and Joe never interacted with any of your business associates. The younger Biden initially claimed those statements were correct, even when the interviewer noted that if Hunter introduced Joe to Yingming, the founder and then chairman of the Chinese Communist Party linked energy company CEFC, that would be untrue, Hunter obfuscated. No, that's not untrue. I'm telling you this. The question being asked that you're stating is that my father said I never received any money from China, the government of China, Hunter replied. Before the interviewer pointed out that Joe never said government of China, Hunter threw a jab at former President Donald Trump's son in law, Jared Kushner, and made the sweeping claim I've never received money from a foreign government. Question. Your father went while he was running for president and said his family never received any money from China. Your father, Hunter answers, yes. Question. Has also said, Hunter answers, you're right. Question. He's never interacted with any of your business associates. Is that correct? Hunter says yes. Question. But if you introduced him to Ying Ming, these names, that would be untrue. Hunter. No, it's not untrue. I'm telling you this. The question being asked that you're stating is that my father said that I never received any money from China, the government of China. Unlike Jared Kushner, I've never received money from a foreign government. Well, Jared Kushner actually did work in China, so that would be the difference there. He didn't say government of China, by the way. He said China, Hunter, from China. Well, it wasn't until he was asked directly about getting paid by China that he admitted, I received money from a Chinese company. So question, did you receive money from China or not? Hunter, I received money from a Chinese company. Question, how many millions have you received from Chinese companies? Hunter, I don't know the exact amount, but I know that it was all completely legal. It was incredibly ethical. Give me a break. And I do know this is that my father never received any money or any benefit from any of the business that I've ever done. Bank receipts, White House visitor logs, testimonies from Biden business partners, and other documents obtained by the Republicans investigating Biden family corruption suggest otherwise. One Hunter and Joe linked bank account received millions of dollars shortly after Hunter threatened Chinese businessman Henry Zhao that he would use his father's position to ensure promises and assurances were kept. In his opening line on Wednesday, Hunter claimed that he did not involve my father in my business. Not only was Joe involved in Hunter's international business deals, including shuttling him to and from meetings with Chinese business partners on Air Force Two and connecting with those partners himself in person or over the phone, but overwhelming evidence suggests the now president leveraged his name and position in government with foreign entities, including ones from China, to enrich himself and his family. Biden family associate Tony Bobulinski, if you guys did not watch that testimony, I recommend you do, not only testified to Joe's involvement in the CEFC deal, but said his status as the Biden family brand and various overseas transactions should prompt an investigation into whether he and his family members violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act, also known as FARA, Anti Corruption and Public Integrity statutes, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, and the Racketeer Influenced and Corporate Organizations Act, RICO. So, I mean, we'll see what comes of it. That's kind of where it always falls off for us, isn't it? What comes of it? Okay. If you guys didn't know, Peter Navarro is serving his jail time. I cannot remember how much time he got. I don't remember, and I don't see it on here. He was supposed to testify, he was subpoenaed to testify, and he didn't because his conversations with the president would be considered privileged and something that he's not able to talk about. I still think he should have gone and just said, "I don't know, I can't say, that's confidential." Um, that's what I would have done. I mean, that's what everybody else does. They go and just pretend they don't remember anything. He's expected to spend 90 days behind bars, so we'll see how that goes for him. I'm not going to read that whole article. Okay, so Mayor Pete, the one that's supposed to keep stuff from flying off of airplanes and keep trains from derailing through public policy, that sort of thing, safety policy. He's not sure if he's going to run for office again or not. I mean, why not? This has been the cushion. What has Mayor Pete actually done? I mean, name me one thing besides trying to make roads more equitable. I mean, and I don't even know that he's accomplished that. I think he's just talked about it. Um, Pete and his husband. Oh, did I not share that? No, it's sharing. Pete and his husband moved from Indiana to Michigan, so he was asked during Axios What's Next summit in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday if he plans to run for Governor Gretchen Whitmer's seat. Good Lord. Michiganders, come on, guys. You got to do better. When her term ends. I don't know if I'll run for office again or not, but I do really care about the future of the state that I've married into and adopted, and I think Governor Whitmer is doing a fantastic job. Of course you do. Um, Pete and his husband moved to Michigan in 2022 after they adopted children so they could be close to their grandparents. We moved to Michigan because it's the right thing to do for our family, Pete said. Anybody who's ever had toddlers knows how important it is and how helpful it can be to have toddlers next to grandparents if that's an option. And that's what we've achieved by moving to Michigan. So I don't mean to dodge, it's just that this job takes about 110% of my intellect and attention. He thinks about it a lot, doesn't do much, but he sure thinks about it. Whitmer's hitting her term limit after being elected in 2019 and reelected in 2022. Pete ran for president in 2020 and dropped out. That's that. Good Lord. These people. All right. Okay, here's some health news for you guys. I wanted to make sure you knew about this because it's freaking important. Hold on, let me share that screen with you. Okay, I make sure you can see. Yeah, crap. Move that bad boy over. Sorry, guys. One day I'll figure this out. Okay. Warning about drinking water issued nationwide. A warning about drinking water was issued this week over concerns about cyber attacks. You guys, please make sure you have a water filtration system in your home or you have bottled water on hand in case there's an emergency. I think you need 2 liters a day per person, and that's not for bathing. That's just drinking. Disabling cyber attacks are striking water and wastewater systems throughout the U.S. These attacks have the potential to disrupt the critical lifeline of clean and safe drinking water, as clean and safe as your drinking water may or may not be, as well as impose significant costs on communities. This is from the EPA. We're writing to describe the nature of these threats and request your partnership on important actions to secure water systems against the increasing risks from and consequences of these attacks. The letter noted that threat actors affiliated with the Iranian government, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, have the IRGC have executed several malicious cyber attacks against the US's infrastructure, such as drinking water systems. What are we doing about this? The EPA is worried about this Green New Deal. How about we secure our water? How about that? That'd be a good idea. In these attacks, IRGC affiliated cyber attackers targeted and disabled a common type of operational technology used at water facilities where the facility had neglected to change a default manufacturer password. In November, CNN reported that federal authorities were investigating an Iranian cyber attack on a water utility. We are closely engaged with sector and interagency partners to understand this evolving situation and provide any necessary support and guidance, said CISA. In a joint statement, Pennsylvania lawmakers, including Chris Deluzio and Senator Bob Casey and Fetterman, said, if a hack like this can happen here in Western Pennsylvania, it can happen elsewhere in the United States. Folks in Pennsylvania and across the country deserve peace of mind that basic infrastructure, such as their drinking water, is safe from nation state adversaries and terrorist organizations. I agree. The letter from the EPA and White House added that officials are aware of a People's Republic of China state sponsored cyber group called Volt Typhoon, which has compromised information technology of multiple critical infrastructure systems, including the drinking water in the U.S. and its territories. Drinking water and wastewater systems are an attractive target for cyber attacks because they are a lifeline critical infrastructure sector, but often lack the resources and technical capacity to adopt rigorous cybersecurity practice. I got an idea. Let's pass a omnibus spending bill of $1.2 trillion and not address the cybersecurity of our drinking water. We need your support to ensure that all water systems, what do you want us to do in your state, comprehensively assess their current cybersecurity practices to identify, but we're not going to give them any money to do it. We'll give money to everyone else. We won't give money to clean up the lead in the water in Flint and Chicago and other places. We won't give money to secure our water infrastructure, but we'll hand money hand over fist to other countries so that they can war against each other. It's absolutely crazy and it makes me nuts. All right. Um, this one too, very important health news. And I want to make sure you guys know this because I know a lot of you guys do sinus rinses. And this one kind of flew under the radar this week. Let me see if you guys can see that. Yep. Okay. CDC warns against nasal rinsing with tap water, cites deadly amoeba infections. Almost 2/3 of American adults believe it's safe to use tap water to rinse their sinuses. I was shocked by this. Distilled water only, guys. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have renewed its warning against using tap water for nasal irrigation as a newly published investigation linked the practice to infections of a deadly amoeba. In a report published on Tuesday, CDC scientists examined 10 cases where patients ranging in age from 32 to 80 became ill after contracting the amoeba, acanthamoeba, a single-celled organism that can be found worldwide in soil and many types of water, including lakes, rivers, and tap water. Acanthamoeba can cause keratitis, which is an infection of the eye that does not spread to other parts of the body, according to the report. However, they can also cause a variety of severe human infections, including granulomatous amoebic encephalitis, GAE, an infection causing severe inflammation of the brain and spinal cord, typically in those with a compromised immune system. All 10 patients were already immunocompromised. They also all reported performing nasal rinsing before becoming ill. 6 patients were diagnosed with GAE and 3 of them died. 7 patients reported nasal rinsing for relief of chronic sinusitis symptoms, while 2 other patients did it as a part of a cleansing ritual. At least 4 patients said they used tap water, in addition to 1 patient who reported using sterile water after submerging their device in tap water. Over the years, since the first acanthamoeba infection was diagnosed in 1956, scientists have tried to find out exactly how people become infected, and I'm guessing a lot of these infections go undiagnosed. After examining patient cases in recent decades, the CDC said the combination of unsanitary tap water, so the water is safe to drink, the amoeba can't survive in the gut, um, but they can survive flushed up into your head. Um, and habitual nasal rinsing is likely to be blamed. In these 10 cases, patients with invasive acanthamoeba infection, nasal rinsing may have been the transmission route. Duration and frequency of nasal rinsing behaviors varied, but most patients had been rinsing for months or even years. And I know a lot of people, Don included, who do this for allergies. He always uses distilled water, but I will even make sure he cleans his bottle with distilled water. The CDC scientists also highlighted the fact that at least half of the 10 patients in this case used tap water in their nasal rinsing. While 2/3 of Americans believe that tap water is bacteria free and safe to use to irrigate their sinuses, studies have found acanthamoeba, and other biofilm associated amoebae have been detected in over 50% of the U.S. tap water supplies. Educating against the use of unboiled tap water for nasal rinsing may be effective in preventing invasive acanthamoeba infections. So you want to use distilled water. No, I wouldn't even use boiled tap water, distilled water only. Please be careful with that, you guys. Hi, Grandma Grateful. How are you, sweetheart? I'm happy to see you. All right. A little comedy here to end the show. Swalwell. He's always good for funny, isn't he? Um, like I said, the stupid never runs out. Hopefully this is the recording. So they were doing this what was the hearing? Was it the Bobulinski hearing? So Representative Eric Swalwell became the latest Democrat to get burned alive today in the House of Representatives. As Jim Hoft reported earlier, the House Oversight Committee is holding its second hearing as part of its impeachment inquiry into White House occupant Joe Biden, and there have been plenty of fireworks. Earlier, Representative Jamie Raskin, you guys, this was an absolute clown show. You had to watch it. I was so frustrated. Was caught on camera pouting like a baby while former Hunter Biden business partner Bob Alinsky read him and Representative Dan Goldman the riot act for lying on behalf of the Biden crime family. AOC fared no better. AOC told him that RICO isn't a crime. It's what they're trying to get Trump on. Swalwell thought he would fare better and decided to rail on about why he thought the Republicans' impeachment effort of Biden was dead. Moreover, he deemed trying to lecture Republicans regarding China was a good idea. But Representative Michael Waltz did not put up with Swalwell's nonsense and proceeded to destroy him on live TV. He went there on Swalwell, bringing up the Democrats' infamous affair. Where is the. Wait, hold on. I want the video. Hold on, let's see if we can get it. Oh, yeah. This is it. Okay, hold on. Pause. Let me get the volume up here. Hopefully, we'll be able to hear it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I find it incredibly rich. Mr. Swalwell is going to come to this committee and lecture us about how China penetrates our government. I think that's something he may know a thing or two about, but let's talk about how China has penetrated the highest levels of this government, including this president and this White House, because I think the visual is incredibly important.
Okay, that deserves a second playthrough.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I find it incredibly rich. Mr. Swalwell is going to come to this committee and lecture us about how China penetrates our government. I think that's something he may know a thing or two about, but let's talk about.
Okay, so if you don't know, Representative Swalwell was sleeping with a Chinese spy named Fang Fang. And so that's why it's incredibly funny that he lectures us about how China penetrates our government. And he used those words. Like, how stupid are you? Completely tone deaf. Hysterical stuff. It snowed all day in Flint. I didn't know it was snowing up in Michigan. It's been weird here. It's hard to watch. Oh, I know. The thing is, I think there ought to be rules on these hearings. So they have these hearings, and instead of actually doing the hearing and hearing what the people that you've subpoenaed to come there or asked to come there, instead of hearing their testimony, they just use it as an opportunity to bloviate. Like, was it Rashida Tlaib was going on and on about how we needed to be doing something else and having clean water and I'm like, yeah, we need to be doing all those things, but that's not what this hearing is about. This hearing is about what Mr. Bobulinski knows about President Biden and Hunter Biden and their business. So if you don't have any intellectual smart questions to ask about those things, then just cede your time to somebody else and shut up. But AOC was screaming at Bob Alinsky and wanting him to say what crimes Joe committed. And he said, the RICO Act, FARA violations. And she's like, the RICO is not a crime. It's a category. Just the stupidity is unfathomable. I mean, you guys, we could all do it much better. They dropped the charges against the Gold Star dad who yelled out during the State of the Union address. So I just wanted you to know that. Was really glad they did that. It was the right thing to do. Okay, here's our last one. Let me get this shared here. And then I'll put up our prayer requests. And if you've got a prayer request, my email address is in the description box. Just email it to me. Let me know whether you want your handle or your name attached to it. It'd be better if you want people to know like who they're praying for to use your handle name that you use on here so they know who they're praying for. Yes, it is great they dropped those charges. I was so happy to be able to bring that news today. So this one is great. Hold on. All right. Joe Biden tells black radio hosts that poor families do not have books in their houses. Oh, come on. I want to see the thing. Wait, hold on. Wait. Joe Biden. Is this it? See if we can find it. No. Dang it. Hold on. Go back. Where is it? Does Candace? No, this isn't it either. Gateway Pundit. Come on, man. Joe Biden appeared on the Breakfast Club. Is this it? This is it.
How many black communities are in a situation?
Okay, here we go.
For example, how many black communities are in a situation where they come from a circumstance where they're in they have difficulty, where the families are in real trouble, where you have people who, how many, even those families that are really poor don't have any books in the house.
So our president thinks that black people who are poor don't have books in their house. Isn't that crazy? It's like when he said, poor kids are just as smart as white kids. What the hell are you saying? So he says even those families that are really poor don't have any books in the house. I mean, I don't know how many black folks watch the show, but isn't that offensive to you? I mean, for those of you who have friends who are black, I know that's like the thing you're not supposed to say, but it's true. But we have friends that are black. I've never been to one of my friends' homes who happens to be black. Even some that I've known that struggled financially, they all had books in their house. Their kids had books. I mean, if you don't have any books, there's the library, there's the dollar store, there's all kinds of places. Maybe Joe could help black families get books. Wow. He's such a racist. He's such a racist. It just goes all over me. Joe is so out of touch. I love how they think poor people don't have IDs. Yes. I have worked with people who are poor. I've worked with people who are poor and black. I've had patients who were poor and black. All of them had IDs. And I think if I suggested to them, if I said, wow, you're poor. Do you have an ID? Or you're black. Do you have can you imagine saying that to someone? And they've done a lot of man on the street things where they brought this up and and asked black people in communities, inner city type communities, do you have a driver's license? And they're like, well, yeah, ever since I was 16. "Well, do you know where to go get it?" And they're like, yeah, right over on 4th Street or whatever. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. The only reason to object to having legal identification to be able to vote is that you want to steal votes. That's the only reason. Nothing else makes sense. I would rather him spend our tax dollars on books for poor people than sending it to Ukraine. Yeah, me too. There's a lot of things, clean water, all sorts of things they could spend money on. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. If you've not been attending book club, we are reading Heaven Stormed by Randy Kay, and it's so good. So if you go to Rumble through your web browser and go to my page, you can click on playlists and you can listen to all the books that we've read. I knew what you meant, love. You can click on all of the books that we've read. They're each in their own book category. So Heaven Stormed has got its 3 episodes, and it's so good. Um, we'll probably finish it in a week or 2. I know a lot of you folks wait until I'm done and then listen to them so that you don't have a week's gap in between. But that's all I have for you. I will see you guys. Summer Rose had asked if I would consider doing a Monday live stream, and I will absolutely consider that. That way we'd be together Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let me give some thought to that and what I would actually talk about. Maybe we can do like something that's really healthcare focused. Oh, Grandma Grateful, are you enjoying it? I hope you are. Um, and you know what? There's also the Jonathan Kahn book. Steve, what are you doing, bud? The Jonathan Kahn books in there are really, really good. All the books that we've read have been good. Um, but anyway, you can find those on the playlists. That way you don't have to scroll through. So like if you're trying to watch on your TV or probably on the app, I would think, you got to scroll through and find the last episode. So the playlists keep you from having to do that. I'm going to put up our prayer list and see if I can add some music to that so you guys can see who. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So you guys can see who we need to be praying for. I'm going to leave them up for a few minutes so you can take screenshots of them for my folks who pray for others. So let me get those up for you, and I'll see if I can add music to that live. I don't know if I can.